In this episode of Fresh Vintage, we're replacing these fogged out headlight assemblies on our 2016 HRV. It really is as simple as this. Okay, so maybe there's a tiny few steps in getting this done, but the good news is we're going to break it all down and show you step by step right now. So to kick things off in the video, we wanted to show you some of the tools you're going to need for this. Always awesome, good idea to have a flashlight. In this case, we have some 3/8 drive. We only use the 10mm, but it's good to have the ratchet. And then this is a wobble extension. This is just a regular extension, but we brought them out just in case we need them. This is kind of a unique tool. You don't necessarily need it, but we used it in the video, and it's a really nice tool to have. This is kind of a specialty item, but we'll leave a link for this stuff in the description of the video you're watching now. We have a flat blade screwdriver. This works incredibly well for getting the plastic fasteners apart. You'll need a Phillips, really nice to have there. A set of needle nose, just for one little thing with the headlight we worked with. And we're obviously shooting this at the end of the video after we replace the headlamp assemblies, but these are all the plastic fasteners we broke, like all of these. So this bag's completely empty. We used all of these out of this kit, which makes this kit invaluable in this situation. So we'll leave a link for all these tools. If you actually need any of these or all of these, we'll leave them in the description of the video you're watching now. But we're going to show you the first step, which is taking this off. Let's jump right into it right now. So we have our tools laid out, and we have the hood popped on our HRV. I wanted to actually show you on the new headlight because you can't see all the bolts on the old one. The obvious one is right here, 10 mil right here. There's another one, I'm going to spin this around right here, and that guy's actually kind of underneath here. There's a third one right here, so we're actually going to have to take the bumper, the fascia off. It's down here somewhere. And then there's kind of an oddball fourth one. It's here, so this one's like up underneath the headlight, so another reason we have to take the front bumper off. I'm going to set this down, and then to show you to get started here, there's a top cover, and it has plastic little like pop things, little rivets, and I'm not sure why, but some of these are already missing. But we're going to go ahead and get all these out of here, and then we'll show you what's underneath, and then take next steps from there. We have our top plate off here, and interesting enough, we found one little plastic fastener, or plastener, I guess, and we wanted to show you if you've never actually messed with one of these. These are plastic now, folks. These are not metal, so don't go getting too crazy here, but you should be able to just work that up like that, and then you see how it's spread. This one's actually broken, but when you push this down in here, that's what pops and holds everything in place. It expands to keep this together. So we're going to go ahead and work on the wheel wells, because there's several of these. We're going to show you which ones you need to grab out of the wheel wells right now. So before we get into the wheel well, I just wanted to show you underneath the front end of the car. I want to show you every single plastic fastener under here, but there's quite a few. There's probably a dozen-ish. And you just have to take your time, find them all, and then get these popped out one by one so that you can work on getting the actual bottom part of the bumper disconnected. So I wanted to do a quick show of what actual plastic fasteners you need to remove under the bumper. There's one right there. And then there's this one here. It kind of follows a unique pattern under here, so don't get under here and just start pulling these all out, because you don't need to. There's that one there. So it actually skips every other one. So that one, leave that one, remove that one, leave that one, and then remove this one. And then back here, closer to the actual engine, you just have to remove this guy, and then there's another one over there. You do not have to pull all of these out on the very, very front edge of the bumper. Don't do that, because you end up just wasting your own time and putting those all back in. So now that we have the underside of the bumper popped apart, we are in the passenger wheel well, and everything you see here you have to do for the driver's side wheel well as well. But we turn the actual wheel, and you need to get a Phillips in here. You can see there's a Phillips screw here, and then right here there's a plastic fastener, and then up here there's a second plastic fastener. You pop those out, and then this actual trim piece should pop out and allow you access to actually get the bumper fascia popped out. And that's where you'll start seeing pretty quickly here the actual bumper wanting to come off the car. But we're going to do that on both sides, and then we'll show you the next thing you'll see is the bumper actually coming off of the car. So quick update on the wheel well here. I have the inner liner pulled back, and you have to get this trim piece out of the way because there's actually a Phillips head screw right here. So don't go trying to like break this or anything, but you just want to pull this with a little bit of effort. And obviously be careful, but it will pop loose without breaking anything. So there's that. And here's your Phillips. There we go. So with the Phillips screw out of the way, and obviously this is just going to kind of hang here, you can start pulling this. And I'm going to be very careful because obviously this is plastic on metal, but I'm going to get an actual trim removal tool and put it in here to actually pop this free, and then the entire bumper should start popping off of the car. So presto, we're on the driver's side. We just did the same thing you saw us do on the passenger side, and we pulled the Phillips head screw out. There's two of the plastic fasteners. Honestly, the things on this car have been breaking, the little plastic fasteners have been breaking left and right, so if that happens, that's another reason to buy one of the kits that we showed you at the beginning of the video. I wanted to just reiterate that you are chasing the black screw in here. Do not take the silver screw out because this isn't actually holding the bumper on. So we're going to carefully come in here, and you can see I'm actually starting to pull this with my hand, but I'm going to give it a little help in here. Just kind of do this. Just take your time, be careful. You're going to break something and damage it if you're not careful. So we're going to work on pulling this off of here. There we go. And this is where you find out if you have gotten all of the plastic fasteners out of the bottom of the bumper. Let's try this side. Yeah, so make sure you take your time with this. It's easy to break these clips. There we go. So real quick, upon further investigation, we have the bumper off, so to speak, to this point. We realize we don't necessarily need to completely take it off the car. Feel free to if you want. You may have to end up actually taking a few more plastic fasteners off. All that to say, we have access to the 4 bolts we need. So we have our 10 millimeter here. We have our 10 millimeter right here. We have our third 10 millimeter right here. And the one that, if you go this route, the one you're going to have, the most work getting to is underneath here. It is upside down, and you probably can't see it that well, but I do have this is a wobble extension. Whoops, I do have a wobble extension here, and it is right here. So we're going to take these out, and then we'll disconnect the bulbs and wiring. And then in theory, we should be able to actually swap the headlight assembly out very shortly here. So one more thing before you actually take the old headlight assembly out. This plastic fastener, yes, there's one more plastic fastener, is holding this piece of plastic on. So I'm just going to set this up here. Actually, that's a bad idea. I'll set it up there. And from here, I think, dare I say it, this will actually come off the car now. So we have the headlight actually extricated off of the car. Just to be frank, I'm not 100% thrilled about the plastic breaking, but let me explain what I mean and how this actually came off of the vehicle. There's 2 pins right here, and one is broken. You can see it's broken. They fit pretty tight, honestly, pretty darn tight into here. And then this piece is supposed to be right here, and it clasps, it kind of like hugs the piece of the metal fender. For comparison, here's the new headlight. So here's the old one, and you can see the piece here that broke versus the new piece. And then these little fingers that they kind of like, they're pretty tight in there. You have to push them down into the actual metal fender. All that to say, we have the headlight bulbs disconnected. We're going to go ahead and swap the actual bulbs into the new guy here and then reinstall it on the car. So we're going to install the new assembly back onto the HRV. Before we do that, I just wanted to shout out, we did replace the bulb here, the main headlight bulb, and then the bulb here. And we also, just quick note, make sure you tuck your wire and get it out of the way so you don't inadvertently pinch it onto the actual headlight assembly and then have to pull this back out. But we're going to do our best to show you this real time and hopefully not break anything. Just have some patience because way more plastic than I would have ever thought broke on this thing getting this headlight out. And we're not trying to break stuff, it's just breaking, to be honest. So that's sitting there. It feels pretty good, all things considered, but it needs to, if you see the holes not lined up properly, it needs to come back ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch, and that's where this needs to push down into the fender. So I'm going to do my best to not break anything. So this hole's lined up. It almost feels like I need to take it and do this to get this back hole to line up. Up front here, that hole's lined up. Down here, feels like that's in a good spot. It's just back here you can kind of see this hole needs to come back a little bit right there. Okay, so we're going to start putting the bolts in, and if anything's not lining up properly, we'll show you along the way. And if to look over on the passenger side, this is rinse and repeat for the passenger side, so we're not going to show you that, but we'll show you the finished product and us putting the bumper back on. So real quick, we have the passenger headlight assembly, and I just wanted to point out this bottom bolt will honestly be a real bear if you don't take the time to get this pin popped into this hole right here on this plastic. This moves easy enough, but if you don't properly line that up to get it to pop into place, you'll spend probably a solid 5 minutes fighting with it like I did before you pop it into place, and then the bolt goes right in. But we're going to get this installed, and then we'll show you the finished product here in just a moment. So awesome news, both headlights assemblies are in and they're working. We don't have it in the video, but we tested the turn signals, the four ways, the low and high beams, the parking lights, just to make sure they all work. Everything's 100%. What we're going to do now is slowly work on putting the bumper back onto the car and fix the actual plastic pieces, the actual fasteners. We broke quite a few of these, which makes that kit that we showed you at the beginning of the video all that more important. They're very, very inexpensive. But we'll show you if anything comes up along the way, but the next time you see this, the bumper should be fully back on the car, and we're working on putting the final cover on the top here. So wrapping things up here, we're just double checking, making sure everything is pushed back in. If these all look new, it's because they all are new. Every single one of these under here on this plate here, we actually replaced. But let me shut the hood. What I'm doing now is I'm just going through, I'm just pushing on things, making sure everything's happy. Make sure these wheel well clips got pushed in and they click back in place. You already did the actual plastic fasteners underneath. But wrapping up the video, not too hard of a job. You may want to consider, if you are going to take the bumper completely off of the HRV, you may have to pull more of those plastic fasteners out, just FYI, be forewarned kind of thing. But, you know, not too hard. You did it yourself, you saved the money, and you kept your own car on the road. And we appreciate you watching. And with that, if you like classic cars, if you like muscle cars, if you like DIY and tech and keeping your cars certified fresh, Fresh Finish is your channel. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.